She was a young star that had the world on their knees. She was another leading actress that managed to rival both Joan Crawford and Norma Shearer. This beautiful woman was the original blonde bombshell who managed to live life and even die young. Her name was Jean Harlow, and she will be talked about on today's basic biographies. Early life. Jean Harlow's real name was Harleen Harlow Carpenter and was born on the 3rd of March 1911 in Kansas City, United States. She was born to a rich family, with her father being a dentist and her mother being born with a wealthy background. She was able to grow up with the high life and even at a young age attending schools in Kansas that were only for girls. Jean Harlow was able to excel in her studies and have the chance to become a star, which her mother wanted her to be at a young age. Her parents divorced in the 1920s and she lived with her mother after the proceedings. They both had moved to Hollywood, with Jean attending schools there and being able to work as an actress and even start an acting career straight after her studies. She was able to see her father after the divorce and spend some time in Kansas again. Later on, her mother was getting married or getting remarried to another person, which they both lived in LA rather than Hollywood. This time during the late 1920s, she was able to have a chance to become an actress in Hollywood and signing deals with studios such as MGM to start and even become a first blonde woman to set and even trailblaze on the silver screen. Beautiful blonde beginnings. Jean Harlow was finding her feet in Hollywood and the acting business in general, as she was turned down for many plays and many roles just before the Great Depression. She could only find work in small roles, which allowed her to play beautiful women or stock female characters based on females being in the background of many major movies. Her major role was in the 1929 film Hell's Angels. This is where she was able to work with filmmaker and entrepreneur Howard Hughes and was able to make them both stars of the silver screen and even become iconic legends. Jean Harlow's acting career in other films actually helped her make her become a leading lady during the 1920s and the early 1930s. She was making appearances in comedies to action films where she played the main female character and even showed realistic artistic and acting talents on the silver screen. The 1930s helped launch her acting and film career, and even being classed the first blonde woman to play a femme fatale or a lover. This made other women in Hollywood envy her, and even would rival against her performances, as well as compete to get the highest paid actress role or job in the 1920s and even the 1930s. Hollywood and high life. A very pretty and powerful woman of the silver screen, Jean Harlow was able to spend at least a decade to make Hollywood bend down to her stardom. She was able to star in films that made her unstoppable as an actress by working with heavyweight actors of the time, from Clark Gable to James Stewart, where she was able to play the leading lady based on her beauty and charm. She would sign more pictures with MGM and even Fox Studios to become an icon. Other actresses such as Joan Crawford and Norma Shearer would still work as leading ladies, but are not able to win hearts of many due to Jean being a young lady, a young actress that made people adore her on the screen. She was considered as a young woman who would be acting with older men on screen. She was even making money, big money, for her performances in the Great Depression, working on movies such as Saratoga, Scarface, and China Seas. The Public Enemy as well, being another good movie, and even Iron Man, where she was able to change the mindset of women and even making the woman in charge of the world and even on top of the world at that time. Jean Harlow was the beautiful woman who actually could play a tough lady on the screen and even stay as a beautiful woman, which other actresses at the time were a bit older, and she could even become a future legend, and even she is today a legendary actress. Personal life and final years. Jean Harlow was married 3 times in her lifetime. Her first husband was Charles McGraw, and their relationship lasted from 1927 to 1929. Second husband was Paul Byrne, with their relationship lasting only in 1932, due to Paul's death. Final husband was Harold Rawson, with the relationship lasting from 1933 to 1934. She had no children or not been able to grow her legacy as a major movie actress. During the 1930s, Jean Harlow was cemented as a Hollywood legend or Hollywood actress who was not able to win any awards like her counterparts in Hollywood. Her final appearance was on the big screen was Personal Property in 1937, as she would be playing with actors such as Robert Taylor. She was able to spend some time with Spencer Tracy and perform in many comedic roles. She was a heavyweight Hollywood actress that would not be able to lose her stardom, but suffer from many diseases. Jean Harlow would be spending some times making appearances before her death, and even helped the president, or then president, Franklin D. Roosevelt during the late 1930s. This was all basically before her death, and even she was still able to make many appearances, and even many archived images were used after her death in various movies, and even been remembered in various performances on TV and even on the radio. Legacy and death. Jean Harlow sadly passed away at the age of 26 on the 7th of June 1937. She was the young starlet who was able to live and die young. She would have been ranked as the best of the best in Hollywood, and even spending her time in Hollywood in general. She was being called the first platinum blonde to become a actress and even a sex symbol during the 1930s. Most actresses today and even in yesteryear have been inspired based on her style and performances as an actress. Actresses such as Marilyn Monroe, Gwen, and singers like Gwen Stefani, another actress, Jane Mansfield, and even the great Madonna, have actually said that they were her idols. That was their idol, and even having watched their movies whilst growing up. Jean Harlow became an icon, a legend that could be more than any actresses in the world at the time. She made men and women love her for what she was, based on her real life and even her screen performances. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't done so. I'm Suki Cookie, and please check out my other videos and even stay tuned for content like this. Thank you for watching.